Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister.
Order. I want to hear Clare Curran.
What did he mean when he told the New Zealand Herald and other media last week that, quote, "we are comfortable with the current arrangements we have," end quote, with regards to Chinese telco Huawei's involvement in our national broadband infrastructure, given that Australian Prime Minister Gillard also said last week that, quote, "we've taken a decision in the national interest," end quote, to ban Huawei from even tendering for its broadband network?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I meant we are comfortable with the current arrangements.
Clare Curran.
Supplementary. How does he reconcile his statement to the media last week that, quote, "we received good quality advice and we do the best to protect New Zealand businesses and consumers where we think that's necessary," end quote, with Gillard's statement that, quote, "we took appropriate advice and used that advice to make our decision, a decision which was to ban Huawei from tendering"? Was the advice from the same source?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, as I said in the House yesterday, I'm not going to go, as no Prime Minister has, into the practice of commenting on security issues, other than I can say that we've taken into account all issues of network security. I'm comfortable that the government has taken a holistic view on that. And can I say how touched I am that the members put in an OIA request for Helen Clark's advice?
Clare Curran.
Supplementary. What did he mean? What did he mean when he told the New Zealand Herald last week that, quote, he was aware of Australia's actions but had a limited knowledge on the reasons for it, end quote? Had he not been briefed on Australia's reasons for their decisions?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I simply don't get into public discussions about what briefings I may or may not have from the Australian intelligence.
Clare Curran. Oh, I beg your pardon. Point of order, the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Speaker, the questioner asked the Prime Minister not what was the subject of the briefing, but whether he was briefed. Now, surely he can answer that question and not offend his so-called self-made rule about not talking about national issues of security.
Order. The question actually contained much more than that. If I recollect correctly, it asked at the outset what the Prime Minister meant. Now, when questions are framed like that, there's can't expect the Speaker to assist in answers because answers are going to be so difficult to pin down when members ask what a minister means. It's a risky approach. Clare Curran.
Supplementary. Was he briefed on Australia's reasons for their decision?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, all I can say to the member is we have considerable dialogue with all of our partners in this area. That's about all I'm prepared to say.
Clare Curran.
Supplementary. Did he read?
Order. I've called Clare Curran.
Did he read the report he received from his security agencies in 2010? And did it say that there were no mitigation measures that would totally counteract the compromising of our broadband infrastructure should Huawei be given the contract? And why did he not warn his ministers accordingly?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, firstly, yes, I would have read that report, although it was a couple of years ago. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, I think it's worth, if the member is really trying to ask me a direct question in relation to Huawei, if I could just make this comment. They are not only one of the three major suppliers of this equipment in the world, alongside Lucent, Alcatel and Ericsson, but they also operate in Australia, they operate in the US, they operate in the United Kingdom, Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong and Japan. And by the way, if they're so unwelcome in Australia, I was amazed to find out they've just become the official sponsor of the Canberra Raiders.
The House now comes to order. The House now comes to questions to members, and the first question